Next speaker, I'll give a little background. For the past 4 years, I've been going to Peru doing science, environmental science research in the Cordillera Blanca Mountains of Peru with a team of American and, on occasion, Australian or British scientists and volunteers. And along the way, I've learned a lot about Peru's very extraordinary structure for its protected areas. They're called national parks, but there's a whole concept called protected areas that actually includes a tremendous amount of activity and commerce and historical land use, such as grazing of cattle and other farm animals. So I was really pleased when we were able to have Zara Sanchez join us. I'll have her tell you a little bit more about herself. She's based in Lima, and actually she has an extraordinarily responsible opportunity in Peru with regards to planning across Peru and Peru's natural protected areas. So I'd like you to welcome Zara Sanchez.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm from Peru. I work for the National Service of Natural Protected Areas in Peru. And I want to share with you all our experience about in the management of these areas. First, I want to introduce, excuse me. I want to introduce some of my country. This is Peru, in the middle west of the South America. I don't know if you can view. There is an enormous area, green area here that we call jungle. We also have another particular desert across the country, in front of the Pacific Ocean. And in the middle of the Peru, across the Peru, there are the highlands. And maybe you know the mountains that we call Andes. So this particular mountain define our geography and define our life conditions. So because of it, we have a really particular biodiversity here. So in particular, in the middle of the country, there are most well-known mountains that we call Cordillera Blanca. And it contains the 70% of all the tropical glaciers in all the world. So Peru not only have Machu Picchu, but I want to tell you how we establish natural protected areas. What are criteria that we use? We decided to protect at least 10% of each ecoregion in our country. But in the most well-known and most used conservation use that we call natural protected areas. So in the left map, we have how we cover the ecoregions in natural protected areas. How you see, the red area is the least least cover in all the natural protected areas. So we have a depth with the highlands. Okay. in that context, we have eight natural areas that we protect glaciers. So the most important that we have is Huascarán, that is in the middle of Peru, and it also contains Cordillera, all the cover of Cordillera Blanca. It was established in '75, and it's also a biosphere reserve, and also a World Heritage that was recognized in '85. I want to tell you what is the challenge to manage a natural protected area in Peru. For the at least 60 years that we manage areas, we define some components that is really important for us. We have a delimited space. Almost every community, every people recognize where are the natural protected areas and recognize SERNANP and the environmental ministry how the authority. But we have a weakness. We don't have a space where we can make agreements that becomes in that we need. Sorry, I forgot the name, the word in English. Commitment. Okay, we don't have enough commitment to the people. The people come us and tell what is their necessities, what they require for us, but no, we can be able to organize it and make that it become in a signed commitment. So that's where we were working now, to make agreements with the people, to make agreements with communities, to make agreements with the tourists, to make agreements with the grassland users. All these commitments and all these side commitments are now with master plans. So how are we going to do that? We want to transform this space that we have, and we also call Comité de Gestión, and we want to transform it in an agreement space where there are special groups on tourism, in research, on management resource, where the people know also say what they need for us, or for the government, or for the natural protected areas, instead what they can do for it. So we want to teach the people that they can also manage their future. So this is our challenge, to build a common vision. Another thing that we are working is to create models, practical models, that the people can show, and the people can identify what are the factors or the human activities that can affect what they need, or the resource that they need to improve their future. For example, we established and we created this kind of model with the people in another area that is called Salinas en Aguada Blanca. And with this practical model, and the people help us to create it, they can identify what are the factors that affect the population of vicuñas, and we can identify what are the actions that every stakeholder can do to control these factors. So with this practical thing, we triplicate the population of vicuña in almost 10 years. So that's what I want to do in Huascarán. For that, we improve some other things. we just not only map resource, we now map, I don't know if you can see, but we map ecosystems. And what affect the ecosystem? What is the factor that affect? But something that we gonna do now is to identify sustainable indicators. What does it mean? An indicator that everybody can measure. We has a lot of projects in Peru that maybe do studies that can measure the status of conservance of the natural protected areas. But when the project ends, we can follow to measures that indicators. So we need some of them. We need sustainable indicators that everybody can measure, even a farming, even a tourist operator. Okay. We are working now in these models with the people and make agreements to construct these models. So we have a problem with the lives of sheep. The farmers know. We need to order this activity, and we need to give license to the people to do their activity in specific areas. And also, we had started to make agreement with farmers to help us to manage the solid waste. And with the tourists, we want they don't use tankies because it's affect the grasslands productivity. So we want to promote the use of llamas. We are working now with the Association of Fat Mountains, and in some places we are giving a % of the incomes of the tickets of the tourists to the people, so they can improve, they can invest this money in improving the waste management or improving tourism conditions. In research, we are promoting another kind of activities. Now we have a special trip that we call Route to Climate Change. And this is the case of Pastoruri. And we promote the tourists today. So what are the effects of the climate change in that glaciers? We also have tree structures to give them in reserve concessions. Another thing that we have a real challenge is to manage the mining concession that we have in Huascarán. Also, I forgot to tell you that in every natural protected area in Peru, we have people, we have rights, we have territory, indigenous territory, we have mining concessions, we have oil concessions. So for us, the management of natural protected areas is a management of interest. Onward. This is our challenge. Maybe I will hope in maybe 2 years we can explain you what are the goals that we achieve. That's all. Thank you.
These are very actively
how they used to claim.
The villagers, the people that live in the mountain that grow the corn, is climate change real for them?
Yeah, it's real for them. I forgot to tell you about the Pastoruri glacier. Tourism is a really important economical activity in Peru. So Pastoruri has lost almost in the last 30 years the most of the glacier cover. We estimate that in 10 years it would disappear. So 2,000 people related to Pastoruri tourists has lost their jobs. So this is real for them.
This, by the way, is internal tourism mostly. It's people from Peru coming there to experience it rather than international tourism.
I'll add to your question. There was a big glaciers conference in Moraz last year, and it was conducted, all the offsite, the small group sessions were conducted in Spanish with simultaneous translation. But there was one session where it was attended by a group of farmers. And because a lot of the people in the room were NGOs and politicos, you had a kind of a mix. And someone asked a question that's similar to what you just asked Conrad about what are you seeing? And this elderly gentleman stood up and said, and you could feel the emotion in his voice. I don't speak very good Spanish, and the translator was a few beats behind. But he was basically saying, tell us when to plant. We don't know when to plant anymore because the water cycles have changed so much. We're not in control of our agricultural output anymore. And I mean, that resonated around the room. You know, it was a very graphic example of someone who's feeling the effects of certainly temperature changes, seasonal changes that are affecting cycles that he and his generations past have been dependent on for their livelihoods. And having done some archaeological work in Peru this year, you could see that Peru's climate has changed over the past couple of thousand years. So we're in another sea change that may be man accelerated. But I think a lot of the questions that people are asking there are we're seeing changes, but we don't know what to do about it. We don't know how to plan. And we're not really sure if we have the tools to react properly.
I think that in climate change is real for them, but there are other ways that we can do. There are people not only depends of the tourists, they depends of the land, because they are really related with the land. So what we need to do is to strong the other activities in grasslands management, rangelands. That's what we want to do with we management the population of vicuñas, for example, to give people another activities to face it.